Hello, my beautiful fragrance family. Dustin here, fragrance fan. Go ahead and do me a solid and click that like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification. I'm just going to keep on bringing you guys these budget-friendly fragrance reviews. That 40-ish and under dollar range, most of these, way less than that. A good number of these you can find at your local rack stores. All 5 of these are everything I just said there. Way less than $40. All of these are rack store finds, as you can tell in the thumbnail. And I just want to go over 5 of them that I think are really safe blind buys. They will garnish compliments more than likely because they are that kind of a DNA. They're not the richest or the heaviest of the fall fragrances because we're just now transitioning into fall. When I'm recording this, it's like, what, the 20, I don't know. It's the 20-something of September right now. So 21st is the first day of fall and just now starting to transition into it. So let's go with some of the ones that are a little bit lighter, a little bit more versatile, if you will, and not just so rich and just thick, sweet, creamy, heavy kind of thing. So in no particular order. And these are not new releases. They're just ones that you see at the rack stores on a regular. If you go to the rack store, you're probably going to see one, if not all of these when you go there. So I'm just going to let you know 5 of them that I think are definitely worth being picked up. If you haven't tried or smelled or have never owned one of these, then these are safe blind buys, in my opinion. So first up, Guess 1981 Los Angeles. This one opens up with this amazing plum pepper combo with a little bit of like lively spearmint, like a little, like almost a fresh side of the spearmint along with that sweet plum. Almost got myself in the eyeball. And that pepper combination. It also yields a little bit, where's the front of it? There we go. Also leaves a little bit of that creamy sandalwood, sweet amber tobacco in the base of this thing. A lot of people compare this to Versace Eros. And it definitely has that feel, but this is, to me, it's kind of like the safe, office-friendly version of Eros. It's more grown up, it's easier, it's not as loud, not as in your face. This one is definitely a good one to take a look at. For $20, you find this one all the time. Oh, by the way, performance on this one is not too bad. For me, it's a 5 to 6 hour fragrance. Projection is about average, but it's a solid 5 or 6 hour fragrance, so it does pretty good in the cooler weather. Up next, one that this whole line is getting marked down tremendously for whatever reason, and all 4 of them in the line I like. I score above average. They are all safe blind buys, but this was actually my scent of the evening tonight, so I was reminded how much I enjoy Guess Seductive Homme Noir, this nutmeg, spicy nutmeg, heavy on the apple, lavender, tonka. That's, to me, the main notes in this thing. It's basically 1 million, except for the lack of mint mandarin combination. This is more of a green apple twist on 1 million. That whole body of that, like, you know, 1 million I think has cinnamon. This has nutmeg. 1 million also has the tonka, the lavender. It's got a bunch of things in common with this. When you spray this, you will immediately be reminded of 1 million. That's not a super, like I'm talking about the OG. It's not a super expensive fragrance. It's like in the mid 40s, whereas this one is now being marked down to like $16. And the performance is actually decent on this. I sprayed this well before I went to dinner and it pumped off good the whole time. Actually was noticed by people in a good way and lasted on me until now. I still smell it radiating. This is hours after, so it's a solid 6 to 7 hour fragrance. Maybe not solid 7, but it's at least a 6 hour fragrance, and it's a compliment kind of a piece, just like 1 million is. For $16 for a 3.4 ounce on this one, it's really hard to go wrong with Guess Seductive Homme Noir. I think it's perfect for this kind of season. Evening kind of a fragrance, but it'll work in the daytime too. Up next, one that I picked up not too terribly long ago. I got it this year, and I was pretty surprised by it. And the notes in it are surprising because there's only 3 notes in this one, but it seems busier. Calvin Klein's Eternity Flame. It just has pineapple, rosemary, and labdanum. Labdanum's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. It can have a leathery feel, and this one kind of has that leathery kind of a feel. The rosemary giving it some spiciness. The pineapple just adds to like a sweet aspect, not to like some kind of tropical kind of feel whatsoever. It just like gives us, it utilizes like the sweet part of the pineapple. And that's it. The labdanum rosemary combo almost gives this an oriental kind of a feel, because it's leathery a little bit, but it's spicy. It's very spicy. Flame is not a bad name for this thing because of the amount of spice that's in here. It's a little bit fresh, so it's not real heavy, and it's sweet, but it's not overly sweet or too fresh that it's only like a summer kind of fragrance. This is just an overall good pick, I think, for transitioning into the fall. I think you can get this one for maybe $25 or so it's super affordable. The performance is better than I thought on this one, because my story when I wore this one time, I was working. You know, I do tree trimming, right? And we were like just getting ready to start hitting the summertime temperatures, but it was still not so humid. The high was like, you know, pushing up into the 80s here and there. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start busting out some of these while I can. I sprayed that one on in the morning. I got to my job site and the customer said, "You smell way too good to be a tree trimmer." And this was the culprit. This is what I was wearing. This little spicy, sweet, somewhat leathery, a little bit of earthiness in this thing too. Another whiff of this thing. It's almost got a stickiness to it, like almost like an amber kind of a thing, but that's not in here. It's just coming from the pineapple, and I think that's kind of giving it almost an amber type of a feel. So Eternity for him, or Flame, is a pretty decent option, I say, for the fall if you haven't smelled that one yet. Up next, a classic one that's been around the block for a while. I think this thing was hyped up when it first came out, and even if this thing is reformulated, it's still totally worth it. Burberry London, with that iconic little fabric around this thing. Fresh bergamot, cinnamon, pepper, woody, tobacco combination. It is sexy. It's got an alluring kind of thing. It's classy. It has those heavy notes. It's got the tobacco and it's got the pepper and the cinnamon and stuff like that, but it's not a super heavy fragrance. It's like the pepper bergamot combination. It's almost juicy. It's almost aquatic in a way, while at the same time having all those rich qualities of a fall fragrance. I think the cinnamon tobacco combination really starts to bring in that fall spirit on this thing, but at the same time being just fresh enough to where it's not going to be too extra weighty, to where if the temperature bumps up a little throughout the day that this is going to be annoying or anything like that. Classic, timeless, compliment type of fragrance. Not too bad on performance. From what I've seen so far, it's not crazy long or anything like that. I'd say it's about a 5-hour fragrance, but I'm not disappointed in it because the scent profile on this thing alone, it's to me, it's kind of a masterpiece. It's kind of a masterpiece because it kind of broke the mold when it came out. So Burberry London, if you have not smelled this thing, it's probably the most expensive on this list. I think it's about $35 or something, but man, it's a good fragrance. So last but not least, I wasn't trying to eliminate any of the milestones or anything like that, but I'm not trying to do a video of just milestones and stuff. They're pretty much all fall and winter fragrances. There's only a couple freshies that they make, but this one, it's kind of hidden. You're going to find it in the women's section. It's not going to look appealing. You're not going to want to smell it if you just see the bottle, but if you see this one in the wild, the Armani Magenta Tanzanite clone, you just might want to get a whiff of this thing, because to me what's going on in this one is it is a creamy, spicy, tobacco, vanilla, with a hint of like some coffee going on in this thing, and those amazing atomizers. Yeah, this thing is delicious, But the reason why it's so heavy, but the reason why I can make this list is because it's not some kind of beast mode projecting fragrance. It's not super dense or anything like that. So I think this one, it barely made the list as far as being like just getting into the just now fall territory, but I've been wanting to talk about this thing. It's, you can see I just can't stop smelling it. It's that good. Creamy vanilla tobacco cinnamon coffee. If that sounds delicious, it's because it is. So if you see this one in the wild, it's definitely worth taking a look at, especially for that price tag. It's so worth it. I never smelled the original, but this thing's doing its thing. It really is. And the performance, it's like 4 hours or something like that. It's not that good, but the scent profile alone definitely kicks this thing into this video. So if you see this creamy, sweet, spicy tobacco coffee, what else do I get in here? There's hints of like, you know, little hints of like some juicy citrus, you know, just bits of it. Nothing crazy. Maybe a touch of leather. Just a touch of leather, like almost like a shoe shine type of thing. But yeah, most of the main players are that creamy vanilla, you know, creamy vanilla, spicy, cinnamon, tobacco combination. And yeah, so that's 5 fragrances that you're gonna find all the time at the rack store that are safe blind buys. They're great for entering into this transition of the fall territory. They're compliment kind of fragrances. They're crowd pleasing. They're good across the board, youth and mature. I just try to get like 5 universal fragrances. Whether you're into this thing or you're a beginner, these things just work. They're just good fragrances, super inexpensive, inoffensive. Just, they check all the boxes. So that's why, and they're versatile. They're pretty versatile. They're mostly daytime, evening, casual business. They just work. These 5 do the trick. I painstakingly went through this list, picking and choosing, and that's why they made it. So that's my conclusion on what I think 5 fragrances that you'll find at the rack store almost anytime if you're looking for a nice fall fragrance. Like I said, they're not new, but they're still relevant today. So with that, I'm out. Y'all be blessed. Take care of yourself always. And until next time.